And I'm back. Oh, I sound like Will Ferrell. I sound like Will Ferrell in Elf. And I love him. And my father. Why are my glasses crooked today? No, this way. Hello, Elaine Marolakos Edelson with Astrology Mojo. And I want to help you get your mojo back. There's me on Saturn. I have a Capricorn rising planet, and Saturn guides Capricorn. So I thought today I'd pay an homage to Saturn. Hey, Kate's here. So let me just remind you, Elizabeth's here as well. Hey, howdy doody. If you are not familiar with me and the things that I talk about regarding astrology, transformation, intuition, clairvoyance, frequencies, vibrations, the planets don't make you do anything because we live in a cooperation with the cosmos, so that when you make a move, the planets reflect that and wherever else they are. And when the planets make a move, you feel it. And when you're making that action, thinking about something, altering something, whatever you're doing, it shows in astrology by way of aspects and angles. That's the deal. Basically, astrology tells you what time it is. So, what time is it? It's time to talk about Mercury going direct. Yay! Hey, good morning, Elizabeth. All right, so let me see. There's a few planets. I made some notes. There's a few planets going direct in the next few months. So let's take a look. Mercury just went direct yesterday. Today is August 1st, 2019. And even though I talk about timely things, most of what I talk about is timeless. So it will help you to navigate and negotiate your world so that you can become a mystic mojo, a mojo mystic. Do you want to do that? Sure. When you up your vibe, you know what that feels like. Let's just go from a happy day to a not so happy day, or a happy moment to a not so happy moment. You're outputting a specific frequency. And when you do, you feel the difference. And so do people around you. And so do everyone, everything. Hey, Cecilia's here as well. Cecilia knows all about frequency because she has a beautiful voice. Okay, Mercury is not the only planet that has been retrograde. That little rascal. Saturn is going direct on September 18th. Pluto is going direct on October 2nd, and Neptune is going direct on November 27th. We're going to be talking about these things. And next week on August 5th, Monday, at 10 a.m. Pacific, Arizona time, we are going to be talking about Jupiter going direct and how it affects each of the signs. So stay tuned Monday. And you can always catch me in a replay on my channel on YouTube, my Astrology Mojo channel. And if you're signed up for my newsletter, there's a link to that in there. Also, I have a few more spots for the Body and Soul package where we're going to talk about all your karmic patterns, how to break those patterns and set you on a road that gets you what you want. And it includes 90 days, that's 3 months of transits, and transits in astrology are our daily, what you want to call daily horoscopes. So Elizabeth says, you're much better. I'm so happy because Mercury's retrograde. Mercury's direct. Elizabeth's a Gemini rising and would feel it the most. Sage is here. Good morning. So is Christine. Hello. Yay. Jupiter, says the Sag. And Jupiter is in the sign of Sagittarius. That's what's called a natural placement. We'll talk about that on Monday and how that's going to affect not just Sag rising, Sag moon, but a few of the other mutable planets also and signs. And that would be Gemini especially. So hey, come say hello. Oh, let me post a link as well before I forget. Do, 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 do. The body and soul package. That came out kind of weird looking. Oh, there it is. Okay. Dean is away, and he usually posts my links and stuff. Oh, by the way, Dean got me this for Christmas last year, and it says, can you see this? Let me move this out of the way. I'm a Taurus in love with a Cancer. Isn't that a cute present? I love it. I love it. And I love him. Hello, Kathleen. Happy day, good lady. You know, we have a joke in this house because I was such a fan, and still am, of Downton Abbey. And my friends and family bought me dish towels, and I have a cookbook. And I have teas, lady tea. And so Aaliyah, our kid, would say, "Oh, would you like some Lady McLady tea?" Yes, I would. Thank you. So, all right, let's get to it. Now that Mercury is direct, I assessed this with a client the other day. In fact, 2 days ago, in her body and soul package. And I said, so you've been looking to change your job, career. It's a big career, top level exec kind of position. And you've had interviews along the way, in the retrograde, prior to the retrograde, in the retrograde, and now you're getting close to making a decision. And so what we do in a retrograde, I said to her and reminded her, is that we just see what comes our way. We see what perceptions we have. We see where we go with something. What are we drawn to? What comes back into our world? Old photographs, old books we haven't read. They've just been collecting dust on the bookshelf. People call from the past. We get Facebooked by people we haven't seen or spoken to in ever, since they were around a lifetime ago. And so then what else do? We look at our perception, our choices, our issues, and whatever comes. And sometimes it's fun. It's not just, oh my gosh, I have to deal with this person. It's not that. Where did your mind just go? Sometimes it's so fun. And you say, I forgot I love to fill in the blank. And now here it is. And I'm back and I can do it again. And I have so many things on my desk. I'm trying to make sure. Okay. So what I think is really key. What is that? Okay. I just saw double vision when I changed my glasses. Move them. So what I think is really key is that there's 3 things we can focus on. That's what we're going to talk about today in this retrograde phase. We're in the post phase. So for the next week to 10 days or so, we're still going to see this information. We're still going to feel what we've been feeling. We're still going to be drawn to squirrel or scatter or what else can I do instead of what I have to do because I don't feel like doing it. So think about these 3 things. Okay. Oh, well, first, before I even go there, let's see. We've got Sage, Kathleen, Christine, Elizabeth, Cecilia, and Kate. In the past month, on top of which we've had a sandwich of not just the Mercury in retrograde and the other Saturn, Neptune, Pluto that are retrograde, but the 2 eclipses, right? So we've had this conglomeration of energies that push you to do something, to think something, to feel something, to reconnect with something. So what was the most prevalent topic for you in the past 6 weeks? That's the big question mark I'd like you to address before I talk about the 3 things that we can do to go from chaos and conflict to clarity in this next week. Hey, Shada. And Sasha, Libra. So what was that for you? Let me know. I reconnected with fun in the past 30 days. We went to a movie, and I'm a big movie person. We all are in our family. And we've just been working so hard. And Dean said, what are you doing Sunday morning? What's on your calendar? And I said, you're on my calendar. What do you want to do? I'm working on the astro class, cleaning out the house, redecorating our kids' bedroom. It is now the guest room, or close enough. And so Dean said, let's go to a movie. So we went to see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Now, it's not one of his more violent ones. So if you're kind of squeamish about stuff, let me tell you, Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio together again, they are an amazing team. And we just love the tongue in cheek, and we love the references and how history has changed. No spoilers. I love that part. Okay, so what do we have? Francis is here as well. Okay, so Shada says, coming more into my body, not living in the past. That's a beautiful thing. So how can we extend that? Well, how can we make that last even more? So when we come out of any retrograde planet, if we look at where it is retrograde in our chart, then we have a clearer understanding of the topics. But really, it's not the thing that's happening to you, right? It's not happening to you. It's emerging from you. So when you look at, let's say, as an example, the last client I spoke with, and she's really wanting to switch companies. And I said, let's assess. Got a pen, got a paper. It's like, all right, what have you learned? What's the most important thing? What came up for you repeatedly? What feelings came up for you? And that was the big clue. And so the 3 things that you can do when Mercury is just going direct is, number 1, to do that reassessment. I have a very creaky chair. So what got your attention? Was it a person? Was it a familiar situation? Was it a feeling that kept coming back that you thought, oh, I've dealt with this already, but I guess not, because here it is again. And if whatever situation came, and I'll tell you, when people, I had to make some appointments, not work related, but I had to make some appointments in the past month. And I thought, okay, well, it's a retrograde. And, when you call a company and you have to change a tech thing and you get redirected and they say, oh, yeah, we'll get right on that. And you say, well, we know now enough to say, can I have your number, direct line, in case we get disconnected? Let me give you my phone number in case we get disconnected. Is there an email, a personal email I can reach you at in case we get disconnected? Because we know in a retrograde what happens. So I had to go somewhere and be somewhere, and I wasn't in the schedule. Okay, so that literally spun my entire day. I could have gotten annoyed because, I had somewhere else to be 45 minutes later, and then after that, and everything would have backlogged. So the receptionist was so apologetic. And I, it's like, yeah, okay, it's a retrograde. It's fine. It's good. I didn't say that to her, but I just said, okay, so, and she was trying to scramble to get everything done right there so that I could stay. And it's like, okay, it's already been 20 minutes and that's going to push me back. So what I'd like to do is go. And then when your organizational stuff gets together, just let me know when I can get back. We'll reschedule. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I said, Faye, there are worse things in life and it's okay. It happens, right? I was you yesterday, I am you today, or I will be you tomorrow. And so we have patience. We have more patience that way. So let's keep going with that as well. Kate says, travel delays, water leaks, and E. coli. No, say it isn't so. What? Okay, so now we're going to move past any kind of bacterial or fungal or viral thing. And when there are travel delays, it's just meant to be expected. My husband had to leave town yesterday, and in 1 week, he got 3 notifications. Oh, your flight time changed. Oh, your flight time changed. Oh, your flight time changed. So we know this when planning. So to just not book things too tight so that you're not scrambling to get to the next plane or, whatever you have to do, or the car rental, because you can't expect everything to go on your timing in a retrograde. But now that as we're coming out, Elizabeth says, so many old structures falling away regarding relationships, my career, and what I do in a day, the emotions I've always kept around money. This is all different for me now. You see that? You see the galaxies and the nebula behind me? That's what it can feel like. You go, girl. Awesome. I'm very happy. It's Marguerite, another Sagittarii. Welcome to the group. Okay. Here's three things I want you to take note. So write or listen to the replay if you're just joining me and I'm not repeating it often enough. 3 things you can do when coming out of a Mercury in retrograde that can really help you come from chaos to go into clarity and to smooth out the wrinkles and or ride the wave if it's been a wonderful month. Okay, so 1, as I started saying, what resurfaced? What occurred this past 30 to 65 days that got your attention the most? Really, what got your attention? Was it a feeling? Was it, and I mean a repetitive feeling like, oh no, not this again. A person, oh, I can't believe they're back. Or, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're back. And then they go away. And then you're left with a feeling like, oh, why does that happen? It's like same time next year. Why does that happen? And so, again, I did it. I do it to myself. I put these glasses on and I go, oh yeah. So that's number 1. Number 2, what realizations did you have about that person, that feeling, that experience that is profound for you, that changes your frequency? As an example, this client that I spoke with, and I said, okay, you've interviewed with at least 4 people or got information from 4 people or 4 companies this past month. What have we learned? And she thought about it and she said, well, definitely this place and this place were not what I thought. And then we worked on a plan and she meditated for clarity and made a bridge. And that energetic bridge brought her people who she'd bump into. And, hey, what do you do? She said, I was at a coffee shop and suddenly I see an old colleague of mine, like out of the blue, right? But this is exciting for me because as we orchestrated this and she implemented this, she saw people come into her life and give her information. I'll have to do something about that. She saw people come into her life and give her information about the subject she was focused on. They just like wafted in like a breeze. Oh, and by the way, did you know so-and-so in that company? Oh my God, you don't want to, they're like dragon people. You don't want to work with that team. Oh, really? Oh, information. So we don't want to judge so much as much as we want to evaluate. Okay, there is a difference. And for those just joining, we're talking about how to negotiate. Hi, Tina, and Kathleen and Christine. I'll read those in a sec. We want to negotiate how to go from chaos to clarity just in the post-Mercury retrograde phase. And it is a real thing. Again, the planets are not doing this to you. It is your timing. So depending on where Mercury was retrograde in Leo, then in Cancer, in your chart, you will see evidence of your belief system and your perceptions. That was big. I'm going to say that again. Okay? Yeah. When Mercury is retrograde, in fact, when any planet is retrograde, depends, but more Mercury because it deals with communication and represents that part of you that is quick to judge, assess, evaluate, and or decide from that experience alone. We want to see the bigger picture. We want, the bigger picture, right? Like what's behind me. We want the bigger picture. So if you can glean the information, not judge, but assess based on what's coming your way, the frequency that you will alter like that is profound. Like Elizabeth said, has a completely different approach now. It's profound. So, so Tina says money is the issue. Okay, so if money is the issue that keeps coming up, then you have to ask yourself, let's move money aside. What do you value? What do you value? Now, of course, I'm not looking at your chart, and I don't know where Mercury was retrograde in your chart. But if you could have a flow that brought you everything you've ever wanted, I want everyone to imagine this. Remember, people, this group that we have, you can also communicate with each other on and off this chat, right? So, and to share your experiences and your knowledge and your expertise. And, you're Mojo Mystics. You're, squad. Yeah. Be here for me and for each other and for yourselves primarily. So if you can envision, and this is for everyone, not just Tina, but if you can envision the type of flow that you would like to come into your life and meditate on that and actually see, the things that you want, the health, the wealth, the passion, the purpose, all of the wonderful stuff. And then on that path, on those little trails of blessings, you suddenly see a block, a wall, a mesh net, a person, an obstacle. That's for you to decide. What is it that you are projecting into the world that creates that obstacle? Because it's not coming at you. You are projecting it. And so if you can imagine, who's old enough to remember film projectors, right? And, there's the screen in the front, and in the back, there's the projector, and it's projecting light and images from the film strip onto the screen. That's you. You are the film projector. And based on your perceptions, your feelings, your beliefs, your past experiences, karma, all the good stuff that comes together and assembles into one person called you, you project that into the world. So if you've been dumped by every lover you ever had, and it feels like crap, and it's the same thing over and over again, you want to stop. It's not about them. It's you. It's you. Oh, baby, it's you. Right? I'll answer for you. I'm going to pull a card. Okay, so Kathleen says, renewed love for my husband. Do want to ride the wave. Do tell. Okay. You're all ears. Ooh. Oh, I'm going to show this to folks who, wait a minute, I have to move I had to tame it and spray it. I had so much wave and curl. It was sticking out in every direction. Okay, here's the shirt Dean bought for me for Christmas last year. Hang on. I'll move this out of the way. Right? I am a Taurus in love with a Cancer. And so the first thing you want to do to ride this wave, to become aware of something, which we just talked about, to ride the wave, number 2, after you know what gets your attention in a Mercury in retrograde, then you have to know what's your realization. Oh my gosh, I really felt wounded. And we're so quick to deny. Oh no, it's okay. Yeah, it's fine. You forgot my birthday. It's okay. It's okay. When deep down you're like, my gosh, why would they do that? That's so hurtful. I don't want to make them feel bad by telling them that. So, but I think it's time that we, and I would say most of the people here are more, I don't want to just say women or female or feminine, but a little bit more intuitive and empathetic. And so there is a hyper empathetic syndrome where you just feel so bad. You don't want to make it worse for anybody. So you just bite the bullet. You close your mouth, you smile and go, yeah, sure. But I think if we can be a little bit more in our own power, and power does not mean force. It just means, okay, I had a realization based on all the clues I gleaned this past month. And what I discovered was that I don't have fill in the blank boundaries, belief in anything really positive. Go down the list of things that you've discovered. Or I have reconnected and renewed my vows to my career, my profession, my love, my family, fun, happiness. How do we alter one and maintain and project the other? I want you to know the moment. This is number 3. So number 1, I got my notes so I don't forget. What recurred or resurfaced? What got your attention in the retrograde? Number 2, what realization did you have because of it? Emotional realization, intellectual realization, physical realization. Oh my gosh, I never realized that every time I eat this kind of food, I get sick. I never put it together. Ta-da! And then number 3, what steps can you take to exit the revolving door? So I want you to know the moment in time, you know the issue, you know the feeling, right? Because that was the gift of the Mercury in retrograde that it brought you. The awareness, the perception of inner frequency. Now, what is the moment in time that can take you out of the revolving door? That is you changing and altering and transforming your behavior, your frequency, your thoughts, your output of emotions. Is it easy? I'm not going to say yes or no. You answer that question. And if you say, no, it's not easy, then I want you to ask yourself, well, then what does hard look like? What does easy look like? What would I like it to be? Christine says, I recognize how great laughing feels. Good. I'm so happy. Let's all laugh together. On the count of 3. 1, 2. Ha, 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 ha. Shauna's here. Jesse. I just had a very blank moment. So I'm just going to take a sip and take care of myself. Gulp. Gulp. That was so yummy. Pero. I'm going to pull a happy card for folks. A happy card. You know what? This is getting in my way. There we go. So, universe, angels, I invite my angels, your angels can come. Higher beings, higher self, starseed, my peeps. To help us negotiate, ride the happy wave out of the retrograde into frequencies and vibrations that bring us more joy and reverberate our own joy. And, oh, here's a card. That is so trippy. I love that. Perpetual transformation. Oh, look at that. Perpetual transformation. Isn't that awesome? That is so cool. Technology is so cool when it works. And I didn't know it would do that. Perpetual transformation. It's what we're doing anyway. Right? Right? You live, you breathe, you act, you don't act. Something changes, something doesn't change, but you're always moving. Your motion is always in motion. It's called emotion. I'm going to pull another card just as I, oh, Sage is laughing. As long as it's not a sinister laugh, I'm okay. You know what's really cool about retrograde? Retrograde? What did I just say? Oh, retrogrades is that when you can become aware of the moment that you're in and the moment that you're creating, you know the moment that you stop creating joy. Everybody breathe. That's the moment I would like you as a Mojo Mystic to become aware of. This is the other card I just pulled. Repetition. Repetition. What is the thing you do over and over and over and over and over and over and over, or think over and over and over and over, and maybe you're not aware of it? So the thing that is the obstacle will stop you to get your attention. And that thing could be a feeling, an ailment, a depression, a loss of opportunity, a confusing circumstance. I once had a client, big time TV client, who, this is many years ago, who said, I have an opportunity to, she was a showrunner and in television. And so she wrote her own pilot. She said, I have an opportunity to work with this team, but they are toxic. I'm the only woman. They will pay me $1 gajillion, and that would be awesome. Or I can work for that team, and the money is 1/3 of what I would be getting paid, and I would have 70% control. And I said, so what do you value? What's the thing you want the most right now? Because it's all about choice. And she said, I don't know. The money is really, I said, yeah, that's a lot of money, man. You could, whatever. You do whatever. You could buy a jet if you wanted. So she opted for the money. No right, wrong, or judgment. And worked there for 2 years. And made it in the business, got a lot of notoriety, and then became physically ill. And I said, okay, maybe it's time to rethink the plan. So now, what is it that's actually making you sick? Is it the people, too much work, the hours? Are you eating well? So let's assess, right? So we had to assess. What kept recurring was this physical illness that came up in her youth, not just after this job. And it was having come from poverty consciousness and, being looked at by the family. It's like, well, if you got to help bring in the money to pay the rent. So that's what got triggered. But she didn't know that's what was motivating her at the time. And it all worked out because then she opted for the thing with the less money and to produce her own thing and still made it great. You see, and that took, I don't know. What was that realization from the moment it started to occur in her youth to realization, maybe 22 years, right? So it's not always an instantaneous thing. It's a process. So I've got a few spots left for Body Soul Transformation Package, and we're going to look at your karma and how we can break some of those patterns. If you pay attention and you implement the strategies and the energetic exercises that I give, and I've been, I don't just give the same thing anymore because I'm changing, I'm growing, and I'm learning some new things, not just about nutrition, which I do anyway every morning, I research, but how you can be at your best. And these are just some of the simple ways that can help you get there. So I hope this is helpful for you. I will be back on Monday. That used to be one of my favorite songs. Mama Cass, where are you now? And Monday the 5th, August 5th, and we're going to talk about Jupiter going direct. And Jupiter's in Sagittarius, and then we will be talking about all the planets that are in basically every month going direct. Saturn's going direct in September. Pluto's going direct in October. Neptune's going direct in when? November. So as the planets come out of retrograde, so do you. Start to make forward motion, changes, transformation, alter your frequency, your vibe. Just take this with you. I'm going to just recap in any retrograde, and we still have 3 more that are happening. So while you're in it, we just came out of one. Now while you're in it, and if you know where Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto are retrograde in your chart, this is even better, because then you can look at these things and say, okay, what's getting my attention about these topics, about this particular part of my chart in the houses? And then what realization am I having about myself? Because it's all a projection and based on my beliefs and my experiences. And what stops me from seeing that moment? What steps can I take to get out of the revolving door? These are the questions you want to ask yourself, and then be really precise about answering. And then come back on Monday and we'll talk more about Jupiter moving forward. I am delightful. She's delightful. She's to something. That was a, what's his name? Back in the 30s. Delightful, delicious, to something, to whatever. Anyway, thank you. And so are you. All right, let's all hold hands and skip. La, 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 la. Here we go, folks. Take it or leave it. That's what I have for you today. I'll be back on Monday. Remember, this is evergreen. If you are listening to this in a replay or in a retrograde replay. Elaine Marolakos Edelson here with transformational astrology. And as a modern mystic, I want to help you transform your vibration so that you engage and activate the reason you've come to this earth. Bless. I'll leave you with that. No prush. Thanks. See you again.